Hey there, how you doing? It's Craig Haskell, author of The Inside Game to Syndication Wealth and founder of the Value Hunt Academy, where we help real estate professionals just like you break out into building their wealth, syndicating the great deals that they actually find. And so I want to welcome you to part 4, the 4 biggest mistakes new syndicators make and how to avoid them. And so in this 7-part video training series, guys, we are shedding the light on the syndication platform. In fact, there's many real estate professionals right now in the marketplace that are confused. Maybe you, mystified, and really lack the understanding of the syndication process. And so what I'm going to be answering in this basic syndication platform are the questions to help you better capitalize on syndication and to start building your wealth. But unfortunately, too many real estate professionals in the marketplace right now are wasting the great deals they find. Yeah, they're missing wealth building opportunities because they are scared of syndication. They're scared. And I want to change that. And so that's what this 7-part video training series is all about. And so let's start off by reviewing where we've been so far in this 7-part video training series, okay? And so in part 1, what is a syndication? We covered really the starting point. What's the basic structure and foundation of a syndication? Who are the players of a syndication? And really, how does a syndication work? We talked about that in part 1. In part 2, we covered how a syndicator makes money. If you're a syndicator, what type of fees can you make? How can you earn those fees? What's the process? What's the breakdown of the back-end profits, the promote? What can you expect? And we talk about why syndication is such a great wealth builder. That's really what it's all about. And then we jumped in part 3 and we covered the complete journey a syndicator takes. The process, it goes from point A to point B. We covered the big picture roadmap. It was actually a roadmap that we went through. We talked about the 20 steps of a syndication process. And so what we're going to do now is we're actually taking the next step here in part 4 and understanding really the process of syndication and the mistakes that syndicators make. And so in part 4, our overview is the 4 biggest mistakes that new syndicators make. And guys, there really are 4 biggies that new syndicators make. 4 biggies. And I'm telling you, if you can avoid these 4 big mistakes alone without using my 8-step process, you're going to have at least a 70% chance of raising enough money to get your deal closed. Yeah, you're going to make some mistakes along the road, but that's okay. I just don't want you to make these 4 big mistakes that we're going to go through today in this video. Okay? So let's talk about the first big mistake that new syndicators make. They buy a mediocre deal, right? It's not a great deal. So what do you think the advice is going to be here, guys? You got to buy a great deal. A great deal. You got to buy a great deal, guys. It's so important, especially on your first deal. Because a great deal is going to get investors excited about what it is you're doing. I mean, it's amazing the greed, the psychological things that go on in investors' mind when you bring them a great deal. It's the logical mind kind of turns off for a second. It goes to sleep, and their emotions kick in. They think they're going to make all this money by the great deal you're bringing them. And so you need to have a great deal. You need to have a great deal because it helps overcome all kinds of concerns investors have. They have credibility factor, right? It makes you look better if you got a great deal. It helps overshadow some of the inexperiences or maybe a lack of track record. Maybe you don't have a track record. Well, a great deal will help you overcome that. So you really need a great deal. Another reason why you need a great deal is because it makes the whole process of raising money a lot easier. It makes it quicker. I mean, there really is little to no selling that goes on when you have a great deal. The numbers, if you can imagine, they yell out, "This is a great deal, guys." I mean, it makes it a lot easier to get investor buy-in versus bring an investor a mediocre deal where they're always you're always scrambling to try to hold things together. But the great deal yells great numbers. and that makes the process a lot easier to raise money. And so obviously, if you have a great deal, you can carve more fees, more cash flow, and more profits out of the deal. I've seen syndicators get 70% of the back end on great deals. I mean, you really, really, really need a great deal, and I just showed you 4 reasons why you need a great deal. But, Craigie boy, I'm asking you, what is a great deal? And so I've got 4 basic, criteria that I go by to determine if I've got a great deal. And so you need a great deal that's at least 20% below IV, intrinsic value. Intrinsic value. You need, this is Warren Buffett. He buys below intrinsic value. At the Value Hound Academy, we teach you what intrinsic value is, and we're looking for deals 20% below intrinsic value so that we can implement our investment strategy. The next thing is we're looking for a great deal that has at least a 15% IRR. So we're looking for 15% plus IRR. It's real important for us to have a 15% plus IRR because we're value add guys. We're value creators. And so a deal's got to have at least a 15%. Now you might be a syndicator who is looking for cash flow and you're looking for stabilized properties. Well, you need at least a 10% IRR. So that would be a great deal for you. You also need cash flow by year 2. And so since we're value add guys, we are looking for properties that need some kind of love. And so cash flow during the initial part of the reposition, the 6 to 12 months, there's not much of it. There's a lot of vacancy. There's a lot of hair in the property. It just needs a kick in the butt. And so there's not a lot of cash flow. But by year 2, there better be cash flow. And so when we model into our deals, we're looking for cash flow by year 2. And then the last thing is we need profit day 1, right? I mean, I really think the best gauge to determine if you have a great deal is if you can actually flip the property, immediately turn around and sell the property for a profit. I mean, you really have profit day 1. So these are the things as you look for great deals to bring your investors. The mistake is buying a mediocre deal. I want you to buy a great deal, and these are reasons why you need to buy a great deal. Okay? Let's talk about mistake number 2. Buy a deal that's too big. A deal that's too big, right? The bigger the deal, the more money you need to raise. Doesn't it make sense? I mean, if you're new to raising money, you're going to have a hard time trying to raise a large money raise. I mean, that makes sense, doesn't it? Just think about it. You're trying to buy a $15 million deal, and you got to go out and raise $6 or $7 million. That's a tough deal. That's you're biting off more than you can chew, and that's a big mistake that a lot of new syndicators make. I mean, they're trying to become billionaires in 3 weeks. This is a big mistake, guys. This is a big mistake. This is not how the world works. We start small and we grow from there. Plants start small and they grow into big trees. But new syndicators don't seem to have that discipline. They always think in large. Let's buy large stuff. And they fail. So I say, don't do it. I say, buy a small deal in your first syndication. I mean, it really is more important for you to get your first deal done than is try to go out there and make lots of money out of the gate. The bigger deals are going to come. I guarantee you guys, they're going to come. But if you don't get that first deal done, you won't be able to you won't be in the game. You won't be able to get that second deal done. And really, nothing, and I mean nothing happens until you get that first deal done. Nothing. So I'm saying let's make it easy on ourselves and let's start small. Okay? Mistake number 3. Lack of time to raise money. I mean, if you don't have a pool of investors before you got a property, it's pretty tough. It's pretty tough. And this is one of the things that we teach here at the Syndicator, at the Wealthy, the Wealthy Syndicator program, as well as the Value Hound Academy, is we teach you to go out and get money raised in advance, to get people interested in what you're doing and then once you bring them a deal, they're more likely to sign up. But unfortunately, what the mistake is, the big mistake that new syndicators make, is they go out and they find a deal first before they have any money lined up. And so they're under this tight time frame. And so I want to draw you a little, let's just say we got a purchase contract here. Oh, and then a nice sexy rectangle. So let's say we have a purchase and sale agreement that is a 60-day close. Now you can get more than that. Obviously 90 is pretty normal, but some of you might be doing some smaller deals. And some of the smaller deals you have harder time to get longer time periods. So let's say this is good. Let me fix that. 60-day close. So let's say you have a 30-day DD, due diligence, right? And so the first 14 days you're going to be conducting hard due diligence to make sure the seller's accurate in what he's been telling you, and you know what you're buying. And then you like it, and so you're going to spend 40 days preparing your syndication documents. And then you got 30 days to close thereafter. That's your 60 days. There's 30 there and there's 30 there at 60 days. And you know what? Once you remove your contingencies, your earnest money deposit is hard, right? It's non-refundable. And that puts you in a pretty risky situation. That puts you in an uncertain situation. And so if you go out and find a property, you put it under contract, and then you start your money raising process, you don't have enough time. You don't have enough time. And so how do you build in some safeguards? How do you build in some predictability into this process? And so you use our money raising process. And so what you do is you build your pool of investors before you go find a deal, right? Before you find a deal. And so we have an 8-step process. But to build a pool of investors before you find a deal, there's four steps. And so I want to walk you through those 4 steps real quick. And so the first thing I want you to do is I want you to create a pitch book about your investment strategy, about how you're going to make money for your investors. And then I want you to go out and create a list of people around you that may be investors. Okay? And then, these are high value people that you feel comfortable, that will like what you're talking about, that will be interested in your investment strategy, that might be interested in investing with you. I mean, it's kind of the low-hanging fruit, especially on your first deal. And then I want you to go out and conduct investor meetings. And you're not trying to sell them anything, you're just trying to go through your pitch book and educate them about what you're doing. And the ones that have an interest go in there. You're going to build what I call a yes database. And now I'm looking for at least 20 people on that database that have some kind of interest. And then once you've gone through these 4 steps and you got 20 people on your yes database, and then you can go up and you can buy your property. And now you have interested people to go to during your due diligence process that are more likely to sign on the dotted line and give you a check, because you basically told them about your investment strategy. You went out and found the deal that matches your investment strategy, and they believe in you, and you've created some know, like, and trust. And so you really got to build in the right amount of time to raise money to be successful in your syndication business. All right, let's talk about the last biggie mistake. And that is step 4, right? So investors really, you think about it, they don't have a strategy. They don't have an investment strategy. They're trying to go out there and see how they can make a deal pencil, but they don't really have a strategy. They don't have competent management set up for them. They don't really have a plan to execute. They don't really even know a target that they're trying to hit. They're just scrambling all over the place, flying by the seat of their pants, and really don't have a specific target that they're trying to hit. They have no plan. No plan. They only have a deal they think they can make money with. And so everybody's out chasing rabbits all over the place. All over the place. They don't have a plan. They have zero focus. They're just chasing these little rabbits that you can see them pop up on the screen. No plan. I mean, I don't know about you, but if someone brought me a deal with no plan and asked me for some money, I'd immediately say no. And you know what? I bet you'd do the same thing. You would. So what I'm saying to you today, and I'm trying to teach you, is before you start looking for a property to buy and syndicate, you got to have a strategy. You got to have a plan to execute. You need to know what type of rabbit that you're going after. Which one are you chasing? You pick one rabbit and you go after that one. And this is the big part that goes in your pitch book, is that investment strategy. And this is what you're selling investors or educating investors on, is this investment strategy. Okay, so those are the 4 big mistakes. Let's go through a little bit of a review here, guys, and talk about the mistakes that you're not going to make. You're going to buy a great deal. A great deal on your first syndication is really important for you to get that first deal closed so that you can get out of the gate and start buying more deals. And you're also going to buy a small deal. You're not going to become a billionaire in 3 days. You're going to build your pool of investors before you go out and start finding a deal to buy. You're going to get them lined up, and then once you have them lined up, you're going to go to them and start talking to them about your deal. And you're not chasing rabbits. We're not chasing rabbits here, guys. We have a certain investment strategy that we know, that we're good at, that we can execute, and we're talking to investors about that one investment strategy. We're not chasing rabbits. Okay? So that's part 4. Let me give you a quick overview of part 5. In part 5, we're talking about the fastest and safest way to raise money for your syndication using this 8-step process. And I have a whole 8-step process that I'm going to teach here in part 5. I'm kind of giving you a preview. We're going to talk about the pitch book. I'm going to give you more insight into that. Talk about how to create a list, investor list, ways to do investor meetings, how to follow up with investors and build that investor database. That's the first 4 steps that we're going to go through before we find a deal. And then afterwards, after you have a deal, we're going to create the documents. I'm going to talk to you about that, how to actually go out and take the syndication documents and get investors to sign up to your deal, get the deal closed in step 7, and then actually how to manage your investors, because that's really where the gold is on how to manage your investors. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through each one of these steps in part 5. So that's it, guys. We got through part 4 here. Looking forward to part 5. If you want more help, I really encourage you to go to the Value Hound Academy. We have in-depth information. We have over 400 articles. We have investment seminars, interview seminars. We've got videos. We got all kinds of articles. We have a lot of information on that site to help you become better syndicators. So to get more help, I encourage you to go there. We have some upcoming webinars and events that I want you to stay tuned to. We got another Raising Money Boot Camp, which was a big success in the last one, coming up soon. So stay tuned for that. And then finally, if you're really not sure what, where you're going with your syndication business, or you want some insight, or you want some coaching, please let's jump on the phone. Let's talk about how we might be able to help you. To do that, I want you to contact Nikki, as you can see it right there. Nikki, Nikki, at valuehoundacademy.com. That's Nikki at valuehoundacademy.com. And Nikki will get you on her schedule, and we'll jump on the phone. Okay? Well, I enjoyed part 4. Looking forward to part 5, and we'll see you in part 5. Take care.